If the first 4 events of the Team Quadrilla Marble League were staples, this throws quite the curveball. Welcome to Event 5 of Season 4 of the Team Quadrilla Marble League. It's the Holeshot Cross, a brand new event renamed to better suit what this event entails, because this is something I don't think we've ever seen before in marble sports. Marbles in heats of 4 will come down a quadrilla funnel onto a course with quadrilla blocks with holes, as you can see, and the marbles need to avoid the holes. They need to avoid going off on either side towards the end, and they need to make it to the green catch basin on the far right. There will be 3 rounds per heat. Marbles need to make it to the green catch basin in all 3 of the rounds to advance to the grand final. If the marbles get knocked out in any of the rounds, they'll be taken out of the event and they won't advance to the final. So it's heats of 4, but it won't necessarily be the top 2 advancing. You could have 1 marble, 3 marbles advancing, no marbles, or all 4 marbles from the heat advancing to the final. After Event 4, our defending champions, the Red Lotus, are on top by 1 point over the Golden Cheeses, and that's our host, the Poison Ivy, holding strong in 3rd place. But it's very bunched up towards the top. Pretty much anyone in the top half could take the lead after this event. Poison Ivy, Aquamarines, Floundering Fish, and the Green Lotus in the first heat. Remember, they have to get to the green catch basin to advance. Poison Ivy and Aquamarines will come down first. Both of them will make it to the end. So will the Floundering Fish, but the Green Lotus, with their reserve Creeper, will be knocked out, and the fans will be saying, "Oh man," to that, because the Green Lotus have had a terrible start to the season, and will continue here. They fall down in one of the holes towards the end in the center, and they will be taken out of the event here in the first round. So in the second round, Aquamarines, Floundering Fish, and the Poison Ivy will come back. They still need to get through the next 2 rounds if they want to advance to the final. Aquamarines do have a bit of a gap to the others, but it's not about speed. Aquamarines do get to the end. Floundering Fish and the Poison Ivy will both actually bow out in the second round. That leaves just the Aquamarines. How did this happen? Poison Ivy fall off in that gap. You can see there is a bit of a gap there towards the center. If you take that center line, you need to have enough speed to go all the way to the catch basin. If you don't have enough speed, you will not make that jump. The Floundering Fish also going off to the far side, they will also be knocked out. So in the final round of the first heat, it will just be the Aquamarines. If they make it, they go to the final. If they don't make it, none of Heat 1 will be making it to the final. Aquamarines, they get tripped up with one of the holes towards the end there, but they do manage to recover and get all the way to the end. So Aquamarines are going to the final with their captain. It was quite shaky. You could see getting tripped up on one of those holes. I think that's where the Green Lotus fell down, so it's not very easy to clear all 3 of these rounds. Welcome to Marbles in Heat 2 do. It's the Red Lotus, Majestic Melons, Valley Dashers, and the Sinister Sprinters. Red Lotus will come down first. Red Lotus almost had a scare, and I only see 3 marbles. Majestic Melons on the far side, I think, lost it very early on in the green block on the far side. And that means they're going to be knocked out in Heat 1. It's also not good to be knocked out higher up the course. That is the tiebreakers for the marbles that get knocked out in the same round. So the Majestic Melons are not going to be getting good points from this event. Now Valley Dashers, Sinister Sprinters, and the Red Lotus will be back in the blocks for the second round. The marbles get rearranged so every marble has a chance to be towards the front. Valley Dashers towards the front, but they do fall down in the center hole towards the end in that teal block. And the Valley Dashers will be knocked out in heat number 2. It was pretty easy going for the Sinister Sprinters and the Red Lotus. Both of them had no trouble at all getting to the end. I think they saw that the Valley Dashers weren't taking a good line, managed to avoid that center line that can prove tricky for some of these marbles. Now Red Lotus and the Sinister Sprinters in the final round of Heat 2. If both of these marbles clear this, they'll both go to the final. Red Lotus, they get tripped up, but they will make it to the end, and so will the Sinister Sprinters with Phantom. So both the Red Lotus and the Sinister Sprinters are going to join the Aquamarines in the final. So from Heat 2, it's 2 marbles going to the final, as opposed to just 1. Red Lotus got tripped up, almost fell down in the same place as the Valley Dashers did. The Sinister Sprinters had no such troubles, but regardless, both are moving on. What can the Golden Cheeses, Yellow Lotus, Team Atlantic, and the Shadow Riders do in the third heat? Big gap from the first 2 and the last 2 marbles. This Golden Cheeses make it to the end. Everyone does except for the Yellow Lotus. The Yellow Lotus fall in the gap over the jump. They could not clear the jump. How did this transpire? Ooh, they got tripped up on that same hole. It has been so tricky for so many of these marbles. And they got tripped up that lost their speed. It made their speed go away entirely, and you need speed to clear that jump. The Yellow Lotus will be knocked out in the first round. Now in the second round of Heat 3, Team Atlantic, Shadow Riders, and Golden Cheese, they're very bunched up, coming out of the funnel. Team Atlantic, ooh, drifting off to the near side, and Team Atlantic will fall through one of the holes on the near side in the teal block, very close to the end, and they could not keep it off the path of the hole, and Team Atlantic will be knocked out. Shadow Riders and Golden Cheeses, they do make it to the end, so they will advance to round 3 of Heat number 3, and if they make it through here, they will go to the final. For 3 marbles from the first 2 heats go to the final. Can either of these marbles also make it? They're very close together. Golden Cheese is out in front, and Shadow Riders right behind them, pretty much shadowing them for the entirety of the course. It took the same exit from the Quadrilla block at the beginning, both going off to the near side. Then Shadow Riders basically just followed the Golden Cheeses entirely, trusting that they would take a good line, and they did. So both the Shadow Riders and the Golden Cheeses are going to the final. Now in the final heat before we go to the final, Deep Divers, Venomous Vipers, Olive Orbs, and the Slime Balls, who desperately need something good going for them. Deep Divers, a bit of a gap to everyone else. They will make it, so the Venomous Vipers, but the Olive Orbs go off to the near side, and they could not get to the end. How does this happen for the Olive Orbs? Ooh, getting tripped up on one of those holes of the teal block in the near side that put their trajectory towards the near side, angled away from the catch basin, and so the Olive Orbs will be knocked out here in the first round. That's not good for them, as we see the Venomous Vipers, Venomous Vipers, Slime Balls, and the Deep Divers in the funnel in that order. They're pretty bunched up as opposed to the previous heat. Venomous Vipers, Slime Balls, and the Deep Divers will all come across. Easy going for them. No one will be knocked out in heat number 2. So they will all make round 3. So round 3 will have Venomous Vipers, Slime Balls, and the Deep Divers. We could have all 3 of these marbles making it to the final out of heat 4. Slime Balls will start us off. Slime Balls, they've made it to round 3. That pretty much guarantees their best result of the entire season, because many marbles have been knocked out in round 1 and round 2. Being very close with the Deep Divers. Both Deep Divers and Slime Balls will make it, but the Venomous Vipers will not. They go off to the near side. Ooh, and getting tripped up on that center hole. That's probably been the trickiest hole to avoid for so many of these marbles. Venomous Vipers didn't fall through it, but pushed off to the near side, and they'll be knocked out in round 3. So you see 8th through 16th, 9 marbles have been eliminated. That means just 7 marbles will remain for the grand final. And in the final, you can have a second chance. Every marble has 2 chances. They'll only be knocked out once they have 2 strikes. So the last marble to get, the marble that doesn't get 2 strikes and everyone else does, they will win the event. Aquamarine is leading everyone. It's going to be a log jam with 7 marbles on the course at once. Golden Cheeses have faltered, and I think Aquamarine's also before them. And the Sinister Sprinters could not make the jump, so those 3 marbles are definitely not advancing, avoiding 1 strike. They will all get a strike. So will the Shadow Riders. The Shadow Riders go off, ooh, just barely to the near side. They were so close to finishing, but that means only the Red Lotus, Deep Divers, and the Slime Balls out of these 7 still have 2 strikes in hand. Very chaotic first round in this final. Everyone else except for the Aquamarines coming down very quickly, and they will all make it. Aquamarines as the anchor. Aquamarines go off to the far side, and while everyone out in front managed to make it to the end, the Aquamarines could not keep it straight. So they will be eliminated here. They will get 7th place in the event. They've gotten their 2nd strike. They were one of the 4 that got the strike from round 1. So they will be eliminated here. Now we have 6 remain. This will be our top 6. Remember, Deep Divers, Slime Balls, and the Red Lotus still have 2 strikes in hand. Golden Cheeses coming down first. The Deep Divers, both of them will make it, and so will everyone else. All of them coming in quick succession. And no one fell in the hole, no one fell off to the near side or the far side. Everyone gets to the catch basin, so everyone everyone doesn't get a strike. And see, marbles getting antsy as the rounds progress here. Still 6 marbles remain. And we are on to the 4th round in this final. The deep divers leading a train behind them. The slime balls and the sinister sprinters and shadow riders have fallen, and so have the golden cheeses, and both of those teams already had a strike from the first round, and so they will be eliminated here. Slime balls also fell in one of the holes up top. I didn't catch that at first, but the slime balls will lose their first life, their first strike, and they will still be in the event though. With the shadow riders and the golden cheeses knocked out, this G leaves just 4 teams. Sinister sprinters, slime balls, red lotus, and the deep divers. Red lotus and deep divers still have 2 strikes in hand. The other 2, if they get knocked out here, they will be out of the event. Sinister sprinters coming down first. It's the red lotus, and everyone makes it to the end. Everyone manages to avoid a strike. That's pivotal for the slime balls and the sinister sprinters. If they get knocked out in any of these rounds, they'll be out of the event. But deep divers and red lotus can afford to get 1 strike. Slime balls, what a job they've done to get all the way to the top 4, their best result of the entire season by far. But can they get a medal? They're closely shadowed by the red lotus. Slime balls go off to the near side, and the other 3 do make it to the end, which means the slime balls will bow out in 4s, just as I say that. But still, that is much needed points. The captain of the slime balls will be happy with his 4th place. Red lotus having a lot of difficulty there, pushing one of the blocks. You can see it bouncing. The red lotus managed to just barely come out unscathed. And we have our podium. Determined deep divers, sinister sprinters, and the red lotus. But in what order? Deep divers, will they make it to the end? No, they won't, and so won't the sinister sprinters. Only the red lotus make it to the end. Deep divers could not stay off the far side. The sinister sprinters couldn't keep it clean either. Red lotus has some difficulty as well, but they do make it to the end, and they're the only one that made it to the end. And the sinister sprinters have gotten their 2nd strike, so they will get the bronze. This leaves just the red lotus and the deep divers. In the 8th round, if the deep divers get knocked out here, it is done, and the red lotus will win. The red lotus can afford to lose a strike. Will the deep divers make it? Yes, they will, and the red lotus will make it. Both marbles manage to make it to the end in this 8th round. But the red lotus still have that 1 strike advantage over the deep divers. It's Marine and Celestial representing their team. These 2 titans of the Team Quadrilla Marble League, both former champions. Only one can get the gold here. Deep divers ahead this time of the red lotus. They need to get to the end, crucially for the deep divers, and they will not. Deep divers fall off to the far side, and that is it. The red lotus will win the event in the Holeshot Cross, and that means the red lotus coming to this event at a 1-point lead over the golden cheeses and everyone else, and they're going to stretch that gap hugely to the rest of the field. Red lotus on top for the first time since event 8 swimming of last season, and the deep divers in 2nd, and the sinister sprinters will get 3rd. And so a huge win for the Red Lotus puts them at the top of the standings and stretches their lead to 11 points over the Deep Divers after the 5th event. The Golden Cheeses and Poison Ivy Crop 1 Aquamarines stay in 5th place, Sinister Sprinters making moves with their bronze up to 10th. And in the Coaches Championship of just the individual events, the Red Lotus have taken the lead here as well over the Aquamarines. Deep Divers rise 6 to 3rd place against the Venomous Vipers and Team Atlantic. The next event will be block bumping, which we'll see for both the A Division and the B Division.